In this video, I interview the most brilliant man in the health space, the world leader in true cellular detox, Dr. Daniel Pompa. And what he's gonna share with you, he's gonna teach you why varying your diet, changing it from diet to diet, actually creates massive amounts of hormone optimization, which is what we want. It actually helps with fat burning. He's gonna share why calorie restriction extends life, but if you do it the wrong way, it shrinks your organs and you feel miserable all the time. So how do you get all the benefits of calorie restriction without any of the side effects? He's gonna share about that as well, and he's gonna teach you what's called diet variation. This conversation is so powerful. It took place at the Live It to Lead It conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And without further ado, here's Dr. Daniel Pompa. Okay, I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Live It to Lead It seminar with my coach, my mentor, the world leader in true cellular detox, the most brilliant person I've ever got to know, who I have the honor of coaching me, Dr. Pompa.
Hey, there's a lot of brilliant people in there, man.
There are.
We heard from some of the top scientists in the world on, ketosis, fasting. I mean, some of our favorite subjects, no doubt. So That's an honor. Thank you.
No, thank you. And the main thing I want to talk about in this Facebook Live is why it's so important to change your diet, and how there was not one ancient culture that ever stuck with one diet long term, and what it does to the body when you do change your diet.
When you said change your diet, I was like, we're going basic here, because I think people go, of course I have to change my diet, but what you mean is diet variation.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I talked about this for years, and I saw it when I was in Africa, and I saw it live. I really didn't understand it until I actually saw it, that these people are actually forced to change their diet, whether it's environmental pressure for any reason, right? I mean, there's droughts, there's, just lack of animals at times. I mean, you can, go on for why they were forced to change their diet. As a matter of fact, when I went into one of these last hunting gathering tribes, they just came out of the mountains. They were forced to move because of a drought, and their diet was forced to change. Now, you heard scientists here, right? Beyond me talking about this on why it's necessary, why it stresses the microbiome and therefore creates a more diverse microbiome, and then that affects our immune system. Okay, that was just like one topic. But when you change your diet, so we make the argument, there's people that make the argument for vegan diets, right, or vegetarian diets, paleo, I mean, we can keep going down the list. Yeah. The fact is that the magic is changing it. A hormone optimization occurs to adapt to the dietary change. And what I mean by that is you get a rise in growth hormone. Your cells listen to your hormones better. So ultimately you feel better. Your gut bacteria change to make this adaptation, which changes your immune system. So what we've learned and the science shows is dietary changes works far better in all the studies than just staying on one diet. But here's the problem. When people change their diet, right? Okay, I went vegan. Yeah. I felt so much better. So then they stay there. Yeah. I went paleo. They stay there, right? But that's not what our bodies are set up to do. And you heard that science this weekend.
Yeah, I did. So what is it? So if somebody goes vegan and they thrive for 3 years, someone else goes vegan and in 3 weeks they get sick, what's the difference in those two people?
That's a great question. You can tell he's smart to ask that question. Because, genetics play a role. No doubt about it. There's certain diets that are going to be better for you, but no matter what your culture is, what your genetics is, dietary change is important, right? So, how often you switch your diet, what you have more of, some people will do better with higher fat, but listen, you just, the next talk you're going to hear a keto diet on a vegan diet, right? So that means it's a high fat diet on a vegan diet. So some people are going to do better with higher fats, but we need to still change the foods that we eat. That's the magic, is changing the foods. The variety is key.
Yes, totally. And the last thing I want to talk about is the calories in, calories out approach, which a lot of people still follow.
And we saw that being destroyed.
We saw it being destroyed this weekend. I don't think a lot of the people on here saw it.
Yeah.
But it's still very popular. We have a lot of dietitians and nutritionists who still teach that.
Yeah.
You got to exercise more, create a deficit.
Right.
Track everything, and you're going to lose weight and get healthy. What's wrong with that?
Well, look, I think all of us would agree that read the literature that short-term caloric restriction works, which kind of fools people because I've lost 20 pounds, I've lost 10 pounds, but what really they have to understand is long-term caloric restriction actually creates a catabolic state. Your immune system gets lower, your organs get smaller. So a lot of bad
Wow.
things happen, and those are the long-term studies. The fact we don't see many long-term experiences with caloric restriction is because you can't stick to it. Eventually, your body says, okay, I'm either going to eat the rest of your muscle, and you'll get skinny fat, which is not pretty, or I'm going to make you break your diet. And you think it's your discipline. You think, okay, I'm just not disciplined. I just can't stick to this. It's not true. Your body has to survive. It will make you eat before it wants to eat and catabolize itself. But when you see people who have been really disciplined and stuck to these more low caloric restriction diets, they have a certain look, and also what happens is they basically are eating 500 calories a day, and they're going, why do I have more fat around my waist, right?
So they're skinny fat.
They're skinny fat, yeah. And their body's in a starvation mode, right? Feeding from its good tissue and muscle. It's not a good place to be.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that feels good too. I mean, a slow metabolism, probably cold all the time.
Yeah, absolutely not good.
But we know that caloric restriction extends life. So
Right.
how do you get the benefit of a longer life, but without the side effects like that?
The perfect question to ask, because now what we do know, and new studies are showing that short-term caloric restrictions, like 5-day fast, even a fast that's just 500 calories, right, a day, or a water fast, but short-term caloric restriction. There was a study that they showed 3 months, 5 days caloric restriction a month, right? 5 days, next month, another 5 days, next month, another 5 days, meaning 25 days. Basically, in this study, they just went back to a standard American diet, but you wouldn't believe the metabolic changes in these people.
With the standard American diet.
Right, with the standard American diet, just
throwing
doing
in
5
5
days
Yeah.
of caloric restriction. I mean, I think he was talking about the cancer changes and also the metabolic changes, diabetes, etc.
Wow, so fasting. That's how we do it.
Fasting.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dr.
Yeah. Hey,
Pompa.
my new book's out, Beyond Fasting. And you got a copy?
I got a copy.
Yeah, you'll
of
be
it.
able to get a copy soon. So
All the people who are in my Keto Camp Inner Circle are getting a copy of that,
That's
and
awesome.
it's out in a month, right?
Yeah, it is the actual.
actual
we
hard
did
copy,
a
yeah.
short release here, but yeah.
Beyond fasting. So it's everything
It is
you want to know.
beyond fasting.
Yeah, everything you want to know about fasting and
Yeah.
beyond. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. I'm going to definitely post about that. And thank you
Yeah.
so much, man.
Listen, man,
I love you.
You're an awesome coach.
I love you, Dr.
Yeah,
Pompa.
absolutely.
Thank you.